Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Well, the view that we just got, this is where we sit for the morning class in Navadip. The Chintamani, if you can highlight Chintamani, so spotlight Chintamani, Leelamai Prabhu. If you, yes, so here's Srila Guru Maharaj, his moti at his Samadhi Mandir in Navadip. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakha Kridha Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. And we have seen this temple grow shovelful by shovelful for the foundations and for everything, and brick by brick for what we see in front of us. We've seen this whole temple grow. And Jai Saparika Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandhavika Gopinath. Oh, sorry, Shishi. Well, yes, Ki Jai, but Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar Ki Jai. It is the morning there. It is something like 7:30 a.m., I believe. And here is the Nat Mandir, the morning program taking place. And everything looking very clean. And the carpet looks like the same carpet, blue and red. Jai Tulsi Devi ki Jai, and Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar ki Jai. And this, okay, yes, Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev Samadhi, the temple of love and affection ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Gurudev. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai, Shri Navadip Dham ki Jai. And this is, oh yes, Tulsi Devi. Oh, lotuses are growing nicely. Jai Shrimati Tulsi Devi ki Jai. And these trees. All right. So we've come to Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, and where you had the camera originally on the plinth of Guru Maharaj's temple, just beside you here. This is where each morning at 9 a.m. we would have the class. So you can slightly, anyhow, you can see what we can see. So as we're looking at the picture, just on the left there is where we would sit, and every day at 9 a.m. we'd have a class, and sometimes Srila Gurudev himself will come here, and there must be a mass of photos somewhere, but amongst the photos you will find pictures of Srila Gurudev sitting here, sometimes seated on the ground, but of course with some asana. But if he comes spontaneously and unexpectedly, then we may not have like a royal asan or a guru, an asan, a vyasasan, a seating place, suitable for the guru. But sometimes Gurudev would come and he would just sit with us on the carpet and just come and be very chatty and talk with us, and sometimes a little more formal. And if we knew he was coming, we'd arrange a chair for him. Of course, we'd arrange a chair for him. But here, much Harikatha taking place just on the left here. And your first picture, the way you had the camera, if you just turn it so we can see what Srila Guru Maharaj sees from his Samadhi Mandir. Okay. No, put it side, put it the normal way, television way. Most of us are watching on a wide screen. Yes, there we are. Yes, perfect. And here are some children. Here's a child. Oh, now behind the pillar. Oh, now behind Chintamani, maybe. Okay, okay. Govinda, Govinda, Gopala, Gopala. Happy to see you. All right. Okay, so dear devotees, let us begin. We are seated, as it were, on Srila Guru Maharaj's Samadhi, and so many times we've been here for our program for the Western devotees. And we say it is an English program, but it was the Western devotees program because sometimes it was Russian, sometimes it was Spanish, if that was the predominant number of devotees who were present that particular day. And sometimes we had the English, and then, as we do now, we'll have a little group in the corner who would be hearing quietly a simultaneous translation into Russian or Spanish mainly, and Chinese. At the last part of Gurudev's pastimes and of us being there, we'd have Chinese also, a little group. And here we'd have the reading of Chaitanya Charitamrita and another book. This was the common thing, as we encourage devotees do everywhere. After all, Guru Srila, in the case of the Samadhi Mandir, Srila Gurudev, he gave us a beautiful standard. Not only beautiful standard, he gave us the way to lead our life. Let's be honest. They gave us the guidance of how to lead our life in Krishna consciousness in a real way, and not in a like a pretending way that we're something we aren't, or imagination or anything else, but in a very realistic way. They've given us our safe journey home. So let me just turn this down here, and let me see. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. All right, and I can see Madhava Prabhu is on the Facebook, and whoever who is with us on Facebook, who I can't see, my obeisances to you, as well as to all the devotees here on Zoom, and who will see us in the recorded version presently. All right, so as we have done many a time, let us be seated on the Samadhi Mandir of Srila Guru Maharaj and chant Vandeham Om Agyan Namo Mahavaranyaya and Vanchakalpatarubhyascha. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savarutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Param Sahagana Lalita Shiva Shakantitam Cha Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratuje Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Govinda Gopala Govinda Gopala. Krishna. Okay, dear ones, just give me 1 second. Perhaps Leela Moy Prabhu, you are looking after us on the Zoom. You can start with a couple of words for the devotees, kindly. I'll put you on the spot. Let me hear what you say.
Okay, I've been putting in the spot. my Dandavat pranams to all of you. Yeah, for me at least, it's really amazing to have this opportunity to be with you all in this amazing place that Chintamani is showing us, that me that never had the opportunity to be there in person, but just to see all the environment, all the and be with the devotees. I think this is the most important thing that always Madhusudana Maharaj, it's always reminding us to be with the devotees. That's the perfect place to be. Whatever the devotees are, that's the place that we should be. Then I think that's my words, because you're back. Hare Krishna.
Okay, and we appreciate your words, and it is true, we need to be with devotees. Anyway, Chintamani is going to take us on a tour. But Chintamani, if you go to one place and just keep the camera so we can be together, this is good for us. Otherwise, we bouncing around all over the temple. And actually, it's happy. You're taking us to Guru Maharaj's veranda, is it? I
Yeah,
wasn't.
Bhudev Prabhu called my name and he would love to say hello. So I'm walking upstairs because Bhudev has gone like this. So off I go. And I have service here today. So
You're cleaning Guru Maharaj's veranda today, is that right? Okay, beautiful.
yes.
And by the way, we've done this like many, many times, and it is on video somewhere. I remember seeing myself looking like a frog cleaning Gurudev's veranda, like squatting down and like, but a frog going backwards. I don't know if frogs can jump backwards or not. Anyway, as we clean the floor by hand. Jai Gurudev Prabhu, Govinda Govinda, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Prabhu. But if Chintamani, if you can just put the camera still somewhere and put it in a regular way, television way, instead of up and down, then we can just sit and be there in the class, just like you had it downstairs. Kindly. Okay, anyway, it'll come together. Indumati Devidasi, Dandavat,
We
and
have to put it
Indumati
this way,
Devidasi.
Bhudev Prabhu. Where can we sit? Oh, we're unmuted. Sorry.
Yeah, and Indumati Devidasi also sending a message. Just because there are the disciples that love being with Srila Gurudev in his samadhi to help us find our way, does not mean we are part of any anti-party. I've been told that oh my goodness. Anyhow, we have nothing to do with party spirit. This is something that Gurudev, you can hear his words certainly recorded. I hate party spirit. We are here for the Krishna consciousness coming from the pure souls that have come from the upper world. So this is why we came to Guru Maharaj. This is why we came to Gurudev. And so here we are in the world where we are giving appreciation to everyone who is doing seva, everyone who's holding on to this line of seva under the guidance of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. And you all know that we're always giving appreciation to see that the temple is being nicely looked after. And we see so clean, and you can't in India, you cannot keep a place clean without very regular attendance. We know that very well. You clean the floor in Guru Maharaj's veranda or any veranda. Next morning, you can rub your finger across the floor. It's going to be like sand and dust and all sorts of things. So it's the nature of the air. We're right beside the road and it's dusty and hot. In fact, I saw in Govardhan it was 43 degrees yesterday, and I think I saw it was 39 degrees in Navadip. So hot time, and now is the 6th of June. So the second week of June, so within the next few days, we would expect the monsoon to come. And when you're living with like 40 degrees approximately day by day, when the monsoon comes, it is a great relief, and devotees are very happy to even go out in the monsoon rain so as to get relief. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, there is a chapter which is likening the different aspects of devotional life with the climate, the weather, and how everyone is feeling nourishment when the rains come. So similarly, the hearts which have been in like the desert-like zone without Krishna consciousness, when they come to hear the glories of the Lord, then they start to get nourishment and relief from the scorching heat of material existence. Birth, death, old age, and disease, if you hadn't noticed, even if we hadn't read it in the books. We are humans, we can observe the environment, and observing the environment it's a painful world of birth, death, old age, and disease. And when there's no direction, then it's a hopeless world, because there is no solution from any quarter, except when we get the guidance from those who live in the eternal world and some rope from them to come back home. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yes, Indumati, I read your messages. The answer is yes. We are always in the team that says, please, nobody criticize anybody. We don't want to hear criticism of anyone by anyone. And this is not directed at one person or anybody in particular. It is really the case. The safe environment is to be with devotees, but if we are with devotees who are criticizing, that is not a safe environment. To criticize politicians, rock stars, movie stars, athletes, or all the things that the newspapers and magazines love to do, okay, that's going on in the world, but not to bring that criticizing tendency into the environment of the Vaishnavas. And Srila Guru, and we don't even want to bring it into the line of the politicians. We are not the judge. We don't know anything about these people. And if we are to know their nature, then we might find there's somebody behind the facade. There's always somebody behind the facade. Because if anybody, whether they're a king or a pauper, as Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj points out in the book Revealed Truth, a king and a penniless person, when they leave their body, they're both, as it were, in the same boat. They may be sitting side by side on the branch of a tree, watching their bodies being burned, thinking, where do we go now? But the king and the pauper, they're in the same situation. So those who in this world are apparently in the post of a king or in the post of a millionaire, or today a millionaire is not very much, depending on which country you live in. But if you're a billionaire, still a billionaire, that's got a little bit of value. If you're a billionaire, or whether you're in debt up to your neck with the mortgage on the house, a loan on the car, the children's school fees, thinking you're rich, but adding everything up and seeing, actually, not only am I a pauper, I'm in debt to so many places. So the same two people in the same situation ultimately. We want to solve birth and death, and we want to be happy. This is the nature of life. So our criticizing tendency should not be allowed to raise its head except for oneself. And we've heard this so many times from Gurudev. My religion is to look at myself, find my faults and correct them. Not just find them and then list them and put them on the wall. I am faulty in this way, but to find our own fault and to correct them. So this we must try to do, and we will give appreciation everywhere where we see seva taking place. Dana K sending us hearts and flowers, question marks, and all good things. I know. I know the question mark was something good. I forgot what it was, though. All right. So actually now here we are on Gurudev's veranda on the side line, depending on what instrument we're watching, I suppose. Then we are on Guru Maharaj's veranda, where with Guru Maharaj's disciple, Budev Prabhu. And I was hearing a verse yesterday, and it was from Srimad Bhagavatam, and was it about Shaunaka Rishi? Perhaps it was. It was about one of the rishis, and he was being praised so much and describing him as being present when Shukadev Goswami delivered the Srimad Bhagavatam. He was there directly in that meeting. And so there is Budev Prabhu, and also here we have Kumkum Devi Dasi, we've got Paramananda Prabhu, we've got these devotees with us, Ramananda Prabhu in San Jose. We have devotees who were there when Srila Guru Maharaj, when Srila Gurudev, for Paramananda Prabhu, but for Kumkum Devi and Ramananda, I don't remember, but there when Srila Guru Maharaj, here on this veranda where we see Chintamani Devidasi's telephone, on this veranda where Srila Guru Maharaj was delivering such topics as Shukadev Goswami was delivering 5,000 years ago, the time of King Parikshit. Hare Krishna. And Shukadev Goswami, he gave Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Vyasadeva recorded the Srimad Bhagavatam. This was at the turn, the time they knew that the Kali Yuga is going to come. So for the benefit of the souls in Kali Yuga. And now this message has been brought by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself, coming with the heart of Srimad Bhagavatam. That heart of Srimad Bhagavatam being loving devotional service, exemplified in its most perfect way in the other half of Krishna, Srimati Radharani. And so coming with her mood to taste what it's like to be such a devotee, then Krishna came as Mahaprabhu. And what Mahaprabhu came to give to the world, that has come from this veranda that we are seated at now, and Srila Guru Maharaj's veranda at the front, and his chair, long arm chair at the side. Then this has come from this area, principally to the Western world, has been like that volcano Guru Maharaj describes Mahaprabhu as a golden volcano of divine lava of love. So that volcano, the eruption from this veranda of that lava of love is the source of the good fortune of us all. And who is carrying that lava all over? That is Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, who's giving us a capacity to touch and taste that lava, because lava can be very untouchable by normal humans. We will get burnt. We will get burnt and we will be ruined. And if we touch this lava of love that's being presented by Mahaprabhu in a mundane way with our mundane thoughts, then we will also be burned up and lost. That's the imitation section. That's the different sections who think that they can just come immediately and understand everything with their mundane reasoning and senses. So Gurudev and Guru Maharaj have given us very careful presentation of Mahaprabhu's teachings and have given us Mahaprabhu's teachings by heart, that heart-to-heart transmission, which comes through initiation, but comes through their goodwill to everyone, not just those who they actually initiated are recipients of their mercy. That mercy was broad and wide for everyone. Hare Krishna. So, Kumkum Devi Dasi, tell us about this veranda where Chintamani Devi Dasi is seated with Bhudev Prabhu. And Bhudev Prabhu now must be, uh, I guess, I'm guessing that you came 1982, perhaps, Bhudev Prabhu. Did you? Anyway, long time ago, more than 40 years, Bhudev Prabhu has been in Navadip, Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And for some time in Guru Maharaj's appearance place, Hapanya. And we have wonderful memories of being in Hapanya with Bhudev Prabhu and with Gurudev, with Bhudev Prabhu. We come there, Gurudev, as Bhudev knows very well, Gurudev would come regularly to Hapanya. He oversaw the Hapanya temple. Guru Maharaj said, that's your temple, not my temple, because it's the temple at Guru Maharaj's own birthplace. So how is it his temple like that? So Gurudev would come there, and as Bhudev also knows that I would often be his driver, and we'd go together and we come. And Bhudev Prabhu, sometimes we've stayed overnight. I don't remember if you were there when it came with Dayara Gauranga Prabhu and Bilva Mangal Prabhu by walking to Hapanya. Then we stayed there the night and at other times for decoration. And we have very happy memories of Bhudev Prabhu singing Gopinath, Mama Nivedana Shuno, Mama Nivedana Shuno Gopinath, Mama Nivedana Shuno. There in Hapanya too. And in Navadip, Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And I have witnesses right here in the temple who can say that here on my little phone. Then we've got recordings from the 1980s of Bhudev Prabhu. We've got recordings of Madhu Mangal Prabhu, of different devotees. And here in the temple room in Vila Govinda, then sometimes, and this maybe it was 2 nights ago, so it's just 2 days ago, again, we selected a song from the recording because we have some bookmarks. We selected a song and it was Madhu Mangal Prabhu and leading. And then this way, we also are able to help preserve the tunes because over the years and the decades, we see that, and in the Western world, we see that gradually some of the tunes become a little, not quite what was being sung in the temple. So this also, by those recordings that took place so many years ago, then we're able to literally be in the temple room and follow. So Madhu Mangal Prabhu was leading, and we are singing, we're following. And it's not that just 2 days ago we did that. We do this from time to time. We do try to very much keep Navadip consciousness and keep the consciousness of what Gurudev and Guru Maharaj have given us as our healthy nourishment in the way that they gave it. So we don't have to add anything. They've given everything, so we don't have to add anything. We can happily adjust some things like we do with a recording, because in Navadip, we wouldn't listen to a recording and follow it. But when we've got those recordings, we can do so a little adjustment for time, place, and circumstance. And that chair that you see, the nearest chair, no need to move the camera, just keep everything still. That nearest chair that we see in Chintamani's video stream there on Guru Maharaj's veranda, that's the exact place that Guru Maharaj handed over the acharjaship, everything of the mat to Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. And we are also witness to that. Hare Krishna. We are a witness to Gurudev Sannyas. We're a witness to Guru Maharaj putting him in the chair there. We're a witness to so many things as the years go by. So Kumkum Devidasi, you are a witness. We've been brought not by surprise, we've been brought by Krishna's arrangement to Guru Maharaj's veranda. We're seated here peacefully, and we've been seated here with many, many talks by Guru Maharaj and by Gurudev, initiations by Guru Maharaj, initiations by Gurudev. Gurudev used to come to Guru Maharaj's veranda for giving, at the time of giving initiation, for quite some time. He'd always feel, oh, that I'm giving initiation, but it's Guru Maharaj, everything. He's given me that duty, and he would come to Guru Maharaj's veranda and give initiation. At least for 1 year after Guru Maharaj's disappearance, I can say that kind of time. And then sometimes he would come to the veranda, sometimes he would do in his own quarters. So, yes, Kumkum Didi, I've introduced you to say a few words a few times now. I promise I'll let you read. I'll let you speak just now, Kumkum Didi, kindly. And okay, I keep my promise. I was just going to say about Kumkum coming, but here, please, you continue.
My Dandavat to all of the devotees, and especially this meditation on this holy Dham, just to see the pictures and see Chintamani Didi there so happily, it truly reminds us of that spirit that we did get to experience. And it was not of this world ever when we were first there. So now it's for us to remember that spirit, how we used to feel it so much there, but to always bring that. In fact, that was my first question to Srila Guru Maharaj when he asked me what my question was. And I hadn't thought of having a question. I was sort of bump on the log. And I realized, though, in that second, that since I had come and had to wait about 3 days to get his darshan because he had been ill, and somebody had told me, you should spend this time serving as much as you can. And so I found some sweeping. I found a little broom and I was constantly sweeping. And so when he asked me that question, I realized that I had been experiencing something completely transcendental just by being there. And my question to him came out as, how can we keep the holy Dham in our heart wherever we may go? And his answer was, it is by our sincerity and our earnestness. It is not by our pious acts that we may perform, but our intense hankering, our earnest hankering, and then we will always bring the holy Dham with us. And so to be able to revisit it is a wonderful assistance in remembering. So I'm also able to appreciate your mention, Maharaj, of when we're wanting to, it's so obvious to somebody who has experienced the greatly authentic message that he constantly presented, as did Srila Prabhupada, as we also heard from Srila Gurudev. But wanting to preserve that completely transparent, to hear something which reminds us of the via media to that perfect message. So even if the tune changes a little bit, it's just that feeling of things aren't quite right is not one of trying to seek out a perfect tune or something like that. It's the necessity, it's the heart's necessity to be reminded in the deepest way of the completely authentic blessings that we always received. One other memory I have of this veranda is the first time I ever saw following Srila Govinda Maharaj up the steps was a dog. named Jimmy. And I could see how this Gurudev could glance at him and he would be completely obedient. And I was, at the same time, he wasn't like you see in the West so much, or sometimes even in India, cuddling or taking very, very expensive classes to have the dog trained to do a trick or to eat with you or so many things like that. But I got this attention that Srila Gurudev knew precisely what the use of the dog was, and it was completely affectionate toward the dog, but not in a sentimental or some way of being deluded by they're cute or something like that. And so that's can be a serious problem when you find the animals too charming, because that may imprint upon our thinking. And so I'm happily reminded of this this song of Thakur Bhaktivinoda, Sarvasva Tumara. And when I love to hear it, I would love to be this dog, or I'm not completely sure if he's talking about a human with the perfect mentality of servitorship that we attribute to dogs. But if there were such a dog, everybody who thinks they want a good dog would want this dog, as Thakur Bhaktivinoda is presenting. Yet it's a very special kind of servitorship that he's speaking of. So Sarvasva Tumara by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, now taking all that I possess and surrendering it unto your lotus feet, O Lord, I throw myself down before your house. You are the master of the house. Kindly consider me your own dog. Chaining me nearby, you will maintain me, and I shall lie at your doorstep. I will not allow your enemies to enter, but will keep them outside the bounds of the surrounding moat. Whatever food remnants your devotees leave behind after honoring your prasad will be my daily sustenance. I will feast on those remnants in great bliss. While sitting up or lying down, I will constantly meditate on your lotus feet. Whenever you call me, I will immediately run to you and dance in rapture. I will never even think about arranging for my own nourishment, and will remain absorbed in ever-cherishing love for my master. Bhaktivinoda now accepts you as his only maintainer. I was very happy to think of this attitude of servitor as he expresses here.
And especially the servitor of Srila Gurudev, the servitor dog, the dog of Gurudev. We have seen that affection. And I know Jimmy is somewhere very special. And exactly, Gurudev's glance really has got a transmission in his glance. It can be a fraction of a second. And you know how it's sometimes told 1/11th of a second of association with a pure devotee. Well, we can see 1/11th of a second of unfavorable, disapproval glance. Oh, that can be like an arrow. I mean, really a poisoned arrow. But an 11th of a second of an approving glance. Oh, that's another matter altogether. And so Jimmy, he can also understand what Gurudev's wanting through that, just that little injection of the glance. And we knew Jimmy, you knew Jimmy.
Well, I just saw him with Gurudev. I didn't know him well.
Well, we knew him to a certain extent, but we knew Rosie, the Alsatian, the German Shepherd, and Ketu, who was the Doberman, wife and husband. We knew them very well. But they were technically, as Gurudev said, they're not my dogs, because he got cursed by Jajava Maharaj that his dogs would die. So he put them in, he said, no, these are Badri Narayan's dogs. This is Gurudev's secretary at that time. Guru Maharaj's secretary at that time, indeed. Hare Krishna. But about those dogs, also sometimes those dogs, they were big. The Doberman is big, a German Shepherd is big. And sometimes they jumped up at devotees. But Gurudev put the fault on the devotee, not on the dogs. He said, they never jump up at me. And he's seeing that the way the devotees are treating them, then it is inciting them to misbehave, as it were, to jump up and put their dirty body. Because dogs, let's face it, they're dirty. So, jumping up and this, that, and licking them. And Siddhanti Maharaj used to look after Gurudev's dogs with such like affection, because they're Gurudev's dogs, not for any other reason. And by the way, it came in my mind just now when you're saying and quoting that song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur about "Let me become your dog, and I will live off your remnants alone." I just waiting with my ear pricked up to run in rapture, like very happily when I hear you call my name. Then this is Jnana Shunya Bhakti. Also, the dog is not analyzing from the Gita, anything that his master is telling him or asking him to do. See, okay. He's not analyzing everything. And the dog is not sitting there, cross-legged with one leg behind one head, another leg, trying to meditate on, all the body parts and how my body is going to be so healthy. And he's not sitting also meditating on spiritual life, that I'm going to become liberated from birth and death. He's just waiting as a faithful master, a faithful servant of his master. Oh, we better not get it the wrong way around. As our dear Bimalananda Prabhu knows, who got chastised by Gurudev for singing, "Oh, you are my dog and I am your master." Oh dear. Singing this in the Nat Mandir right there in Navadip. Bimalananda Prabhu, he will happily tell the story, so he won't mind I'm saying the story and remembering him. And Gurudev said many things about many devotees, but Gurudev said about Bimalananda Prabhu, he said he was his best koka. Because he listened. It doesn't mean every other koka is not best. That's not putting anybody down. But Gurudev said he's my best koka. Why? He listens to what I say, and when I chastise, and he listens and he adjusts. But still, he was a naughty koka too, and he will also admit that, and so will Gurudev admit that. But still, in the capacity of listening to what needed to be adjusted, then he adjusted. And especially in cooking, and cooking for Gurudev was a very important aspect of seva. To cook what is suitable for his health and what is tasty. And Gurudev had things which would be harmful for his health. And Paramananda, he knows very well. Devotees who they can't take something or they'll get some reaction. And Gurudev had that kind of diet where he needed to not have certain things. And Bimalananda Prabhu, he did the necessary, and the spicing, etc. Gurudev would give any hint or comment, or this, it needs more of this or too little of that. The next meal, it would be just right. And so Bimalananda Prabhu cooked for Gurudev. He didn't cook, for himself or for anything. He cooked to satisfy him, and that's a very, very responsible duty. You don't want to cook something and get those a series of 11th of a seconds of disapproval, of a river of those disapproval coming to you. So yes, it came in my mind about the dog. I think Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur really is saying, looking at the dog and his faithfulness to the master. And if you can be Gurudev's dog, how wonderful.
Maharaj, wasn't there one dog who gave its life to protect Gurudev from a snake?
No, Didi. There's one dog who gave his life because of killing the snake, and that was Ketu.
Uh-huh.
But that was no, by the way, honestly, stories get very much changed around, and I hear them all the while. And I just a few days ago heard a story about me, which the moral of the story was fine. It's the first time I've ever heard it, so I was quite interested to hear about it. So I didn't raise any objection, but it was absolutely not me. But it was very well given story and all these things. And it was Mahananda who did this, and came by this happened, that happened. I was very interested to learn about my life. So anyway, but that's about things which we can directly say. So yes, these stories do kind of get a little color. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he says that I gave everything to Surya, the sun god, and then step by step by step, then this has been uh, it's got the color of who has heard it, and that color gets passed on, gets the color of who has heard it. So in due course of time, what I gave it got lost. So from time to time, I come back to re-establish what is the proper message. And hence, Krishna gave Bhagavad Gita. So, Krishna knows that things get changed in course of time. No, it was Ketu who died from the snake. And again, we are there. We know what happened. So, it's not that we're going to sit around a room. It's going to be a debate. Oh, no, it happened like this. No, we know what happened. And by the way, Gurudev told that Ketu, he said, he won't be allowed to stay here, Ketu, because he had the nature of killing the snakes in the dam. He said, the snakes, they are residents, and he's killing the cobra and killing the snake. He will not be allowed to stay here. Gurudev said this in a very serious way some time before. And indeed it happened that on this occasion, then, that the dogs at night had a duty. Their duty was to guard the temple. And, that's a duty. in Navadvip, it is a duty. And so they were guarding the temple at night, but in the daytime, they're not running around and playing with everybody. They're in their quarters, and their quarters for a long time was on the roof of Gurudev's house. And so they're up on the roof. So the devotees will call him each day, call the dogs each day to bring them in the morning, because they know in the morning they've got to come up, in the day they're up there, and in the night they're running freely around the ashram. And then one morning, then we're calling the dogs to come in, but Ketu is not coming. Rosie is coming, but not Ketu. And then looking around, and it was a devotee, Gupta Govardhan Prabhu, Bengali devotee. And then he found Ketu, and he was just behind the Westerner's guest house that we saw the very beginning of the Chintamani's, when you're looking from the Samadhi Mandir of Guru Maharaj. Then on the right side, diagonally in front of you, is the Western guest house. Behind that, there was Ketu lying on the ground. And just near him, there was a cobra lying on the ground. Both were dead. And so Ketu is Ketu. He's not going to give up. And he killed the cobra, and the cobra killed him. So they both were dead. But it wasn't in defense of anybody. It was the Doberman, unfortunately following his nature, which was not acceptable in the Dharma. So we all need to be careful about our nature. We may not be Dobermans, but we are humans with all sorts of nature within us. We need to be careful. And I need to be careful. I've got a message that the computer is overheating. So When I'm warned, I'll do something about it so we don't get cut off. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Okay. Yes, Paramananda Prabhu. You have a very similar ceiling to Rupanuga Prabhu. Can you hear, Paramananda Prabhu? Can we invite you to say a few words?
Yes, Maharaj, we have a similar ceiling.
You do indeed. You're
That
both
means we're
in
in Thailand.
Thailand.
Well, since we're talking about the dogs, and you already invoked Siddhanti Maharaj's name, somehow him and the dogs in Dham are very closely connected. And those who knew Siddhanti Maharaj also knew that he is from a very well-to-do family. And once his brother and his parents, I guess his parents, the whole family, inquired, how's he doing? What is his engagement there? And his answer, besides other things, was, I am taking care of my master's dogs. I'm serving them. That is my position here. They were quite astonished to hear that. So it's a whole different level. We're talking about the dogs and their devotion to their master, but there is someone who is devoted to the dogs who are devoted to the master. So that was his seva, and he was doing it, as we know, perfectly. That's just the nature of Siddhanti Maharaj. He would always serve. He will find someone who is apparently in the lowest position, and he will offer his service to that person. Never asked for anything in the higher world of service. Always taking the most menial service. That was his Vaishnava nature. So yes, dogs and Siddhanti Maharaj, very much connected. And Gurudev liked to tease the dogs. When he was in Thailand, we had these dogs in the neighbor's house, and he was on his scooter. Then he will come real close on his scooter, real close to the gate, and the dog just go mad. And then he will withdraw, and he will repeat it several times when the dogs are completely mad. And one time, the dogs got out, and they started chasing Ranaji. And Gurudev had so much fun out of it. Somehow, they just singled him out, and they just went, mad about chasing Ranaji. So he was running all over the housing complex. Escaped, I have to say. And something very random, Maharaj, not connected to our present discussion, but Shripad Dandi Maharaj, who is back to Mayapur, stopped in Koikali temple. And that reminded me, how Srila Govinda Maharaj would place different verses in different temples. Like in Govardhan, we have Giriraj Haritik and Raghunath Das Goswami's composition on left and right. And beautiful collection of verses in Vrindavan temple, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's memorial. Wonderful collection of verses on Guru Maharaj's Samadhi. And there was this, and the selection is very perfect. That just tells you who Govinda Maharaj is, and how subtle is his, and how, not just subtle, but how perfect is his understanding of those verses. So in Koikali temple, you know better what was the history behind, what was the purpose of the temple, because we already had the Damdam Park temple, which is in close proximity to the airport. So it's a perfect transition station. And then later on, Koikali manifested. And I was also considering why is he putting another temple in Calcutta? Because it's kind of a stretch, but it happened nevertheless. And it's actually explained in that very verse. When you look at the altar, it's probably on the left side, as I understood. And the verse is, Kala Kalir Balina Indriya Vairi Varga, Shri Bhakti Marga Iha Kantaka Koti Rudha. Aha Kayami Vikalam Kimaham Karomi, Chaitanya Chandra Yadinadya Kripam Karoshi. The verse from Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur from Chaitanya Chandramrita, where he's saying that in this age of Kali, our senses have become very powerful enemies. It's almost impossible to overcome them. The illustrious path of bhakti is overgrown with weeds of misconceptions. What shall I do in this situation? Somehow I end up in this world at this particular time, and this is all happening. And then Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur said, the only shelter and the only salvation is to beg Chaitanya Chandra for his mercy. And that is right there on the wall. And Kalikata is probably the embodiment of Kali Yuga in the whole of, at least in the whole of the Indian subcontinent. So Srila Govinda Maharaj's thinking is, he is giving the chance, and the location also, I mean, it's not the most, I can say, what would you say, Ma?
Sattvic.
Yes, exactly. I was also thinking, why there? Really, it's not the most, yes, Sattvic, there you go, location. But he is giving the chance to those people to come to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and receive his mercy. And that was his consideration, the purpose for that temple. And that is all encompassed in that verse on the wall. And somehow we're a little bit oblivious to the verses, but they're there for a reason. Really, that tells so much about it, and it's actually a certain insight into Srila Govinda Maharaj's heart. The way he's thinking, the way he's performing his seva, and they're there for us to read and for us to contemplate about. It's like a guidelines in our seva. So I hope that the more books gonna come out. We're not sure. Sripad Keshwananda Prabhu is working on the one. It's still in the process, but it's getting to a certain closure.
With all support.
Yes, absolutely. And that will be the verses from Vrindavan Temple and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Memorial. I think mostly from Vrindavan Temple, because Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Memorial was the first verses of each chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he's focusing mostly on Vrindavan Temple itself. Anyhow, Raj, these are a couple of things. And I also have to say that when Shuddha Shravan Prabhu, when I happened to be there many times, when we would just come to see Govinda Maharaj around this time, May, June, in Calcutta, he will recite before he even enters the veranda, before he even sees Govinda Maharaj, he will be loudly reciting the verses from the song, the composition of Bhakti Sarvasvatamar, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's composition. And Govinda Maharaj was very happy to hear that. I mean, implying that he is there in that position of a dog, and Govinda Maharaj is his master.
And really, Shuddha Shravan showed humility. I mean, really, genuine humility in front of Gurudev. He didn't show it in front of everybody. In front of Gurudev, he showed it. I mean, genuinely, a puppy dog.
Well, I guess we can apply to a certain extent. I mean, really, like you said, that sometimes Rosie and Ketu were not so tolerant to other devotees who provoke them.
Not
in
so
a similar way.
Not so tolerant
to the other devotees who would provoke them, and Govinda Maharaj will say, "Oh, they are provoking them."
Oh, provoking, yeah.
Yes. So I would apply same principle to Shuddha Shravan Prabhu.
One example doesn't cover everything, does it? There we are. By the way, there was a question too that, Radha Sundari is asking, and she's there in the Dham, she's asking, does that mean that it is not acceptable to kill snakes in the Dham? And that the answer is yes, it is unacceptable to kill snakes in the Dham. And this is coming from also Srila Guru Maharaj's time. Guru Maharaj here on the veranda upstairs, and one sannyasi, we know who it was, we know what happened. One sannyasi, Western sannyasi, killed a snake in the back area, out near Badrin Ryan's house, the house at the back, behind what's now the lady's house. He killed a snake, and Guru Maharaj was very upset. Like, what right? We have no right to take the life of another, especially here in the Dham. Here in the Dham, they are residents of the Dham. They have contact with the Dham. They've taken their birth here with some connection of the Dham. And you are coming, doing this. Guru Maharaj was very unhappy about that. So we will give honor and respect to all the living entities. And
Maharaj, to add to that, once Srila Govinda Maharaj was asked the same question, and devotee quoted Saraswati Thakur, and many devotees heard about that the sadhu, when he sees a snake or a scorpion, he shall kill the snake or a scorpion for the sake of the safety of the society. So that was brought into his attention, and Govinda Maharaj said, are you possessing such a power to benefit this departed soul? If you are, then yes, because a sadhu, when he kills a scorpion or a snake, he elevates, by the power of his devotion, he elevates that living being to the higher position. So we have to consider everything from that light. And of course, I'm not sure about the mosquitoes, though. That was always a question in the air, but no other living beings in the Dham should be harmed. Anything about mosquitoes?
To err on the side of safety. If in doubt, do the safe thing. I tried not to kill the mosquitoes because I don't have that power to elevate the mosquito to a better body. And I have to say that when I did make some settlement with the mosquitoes, they were very kind to me. They weren't so kind to others who came in the office, but they were a little kind to me. So for us, I mean, this is a Mahananda guideline. That is, if in doubt, don't do it. Do the safe thing. But yes, we know that some do feel the necessity to kill the mosquitoes. Give them a quick end to their life so they don't grow old and have heart transplants and go to the hospital with masks on their mouths in the mosquito hospital for their old age. They get a quick death. Hare Krishna. How sad is the world, isn't it? Quality of life is what is required. Hare Krishna. And that floor, by the way, where we are seated in Guru Maharaj's veranda, that floor is reflective. Almost you can see the reflection with the bottom there with the chair. And we tried in the book room in Navadi, we tried to imitate, I mean, not exactly imitate in a bad way, but we wanted to make a floor like in Guru Maharaj's veranda, red and shiny and everything floor. But whatever we did, we couldn't do it. And finally, we understood that only years of elbow grease, they call it in the West, years of hand cleaning that floor, then it comes like that. You don't get a floor like that straight out of the box, as it were. You can't lay a floor like that. So we're very happy to have used some elbow grease on that floor too. Hare Krishna. But look how nicely looking. And the pictures preserved there, up on the wall, above Guru Maharaj's chair, above Gurudev's chair. Well, above their chairs. It's not that they limit it to one chair, for sure. Hare Krishna. And also how many kirtans we've been there. Guru Maharaj didn't always come down for every festival, but or like appearance day, disappearance day, like this. But we would have just happy gatherings here on Guru Maharaj's veranda, and devotees will all be seated here. And as we mentioned before, Madhu Mangal Prabhu's name, he was a chief kirtanier, and he would sing the songs for Guru Maharaj's satisfaction, and sometimes Guru Maharaj is singing along, sometimes he is leading, I know a little bit. And we'd be having kirtan here, and Guru Maharaj say a few words, Gurudev say a few words, and they weren't all recorded, it's for sure. I mean, recording was, some had a recording machine, but it wasn't that everything that happened all the time was recorded. And by the way, in Gurudev's time also not. So much life goes on without a tape recorder nearby. Hare Krishna. Vrindavaneshri, oh, you're there. I've got a black screen. Kind of, our attention has gone to Navadip. So excuse me if I've not given everybody proper attention. We did get a bit caught up in Navadip, but Vrindavaneshri in the night, my goodness. And Leela Moy Prabhu in the night. Hare Krishna. All right. Anyway, oh dear devotees, I didn't give attention to anything. It's now 7 minutes past 5 here in the morning. So our day will continue. And really, our support to all the devotees. And what can we do in this world? We have to go on, but we must go on being a devotee. When we've got some opportunity to render service to Guru and Gauranga, to the Dham, to the Vaishnavas, to the deities, to Prasadam, when we've got the chance to render service, and take that opportunity happily. There we are. And I received Gayatri right here on the right, just at the foot of the bed on the floor. This is where Guru Maharaj sat on the floor. I sat on the floor, Guru Maharaj myself together, just here. I mean, and also many things happened here in this room, but anyway, my mind gone straight to that occasion. Hare Krishna. All right, Chintamani Devidasi, thank you very much for being our eye into Navadip Dham today, and again saying we're very pleased how it's been looked after nicely, being maintained and cleaned, and maintenance is the long-term service. To create is quick, to destroy is quick, to maintain is the long-term consistent savor. And this goes for our devotional life too. We need to maintain our devotional life always. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai, Jai Shri Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Guru Maharaj Bhajan Kutia ki Jai, Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Jai Shri Gurudev's worldwide mission ki Jai. It is his mission that's brought by bringing Guru Maharaj to everybody, accessible to everybody. Then Srila Gurudev's mission ki Jai. And Jai Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Hari Ras Thakur ki Jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. And Gurudev will, Srila Guru Maharaj would always say, this is Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's temple. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai all the present day Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. All the devotees present with us today ki Jai. And the unlimited devotees everywhere ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. And special jais to Kumkum Devi Rasin, to Paramananda Prabhu, who both have given us some insights today. And we need to draw from the heart of the devotees devotion. Devotion comes from devotion. So we appreciate your candlelight, sharing your candle with other candles today. And quiet Ramasundar Prabhu. Keep up the good savor, Ramasundar Prabhu. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. And to all of you, one by one, of course, my Dandava. Anu Krishna Devidasi also in the night there. Oh, but she's in the bright light. Govinda Govinda. Dandava.
Srila Bhaktiranjan Madhusudana Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna and Gangalila Didi, Lakshmi Priya Didi, Priyanana Didi, Axel, Hare Krishna Axel, and Dana and Sevarupa. Maybe she was the first to join. She's top left on my screen, so you're at the front, the top of the queue. All right, and to all those on Facebook, all those on Zoom, all those in the recorded version, our humble obeisances. Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat, Dandavat.